Bonjour à tous les amis, c'est encore moi Kevin, auteur du blog Le Japon en noir et blanc. Aujourd'hui, nouvelle vidéo. Avant de commencer, il y a une petite annonce. Mon nouveau ebook, Tout dire en japonais sans aucun effort, est sorti. Donc n'hésitez pas à vous le procurer. Donc aujourd'hui, j'ai une invitée spéciale. I have a special guest. She's there.
Konnichiwa, Yurie desu, aka Baby Pink House.
Okay. So, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Yurie. I was born and raised in Japan, and I spent the last 10-ish years in New York City acting, and now I make content in Japan.
Ok. Bon les gars, comme vous l'avez dit, elle s'appelle Yurie, elle est métisse japonaise américaine et elle a pas mal de choses à nous raconter. C'est pour ça qu'aujourd'hui j'ai décidé de l'interviewer. Et surtout le truc que vous savez pas, c'est que c'est une star, elle. C'est une star sur TikTok. Et aussi elle a fait des films aussi aux States et tout ça. Donc elle va nous parler de tout ça. Donc voilà, allez, c'est parti. So yeah, you understand it. So told before that you are half Japanese,
yes, I'm Hahu, yeah.
half American. Can you tell me about your best experience and your worst experience in Japan?
Well, best experience, so I was raised by my Japanese mother, who's actually ethnically Korean, so it's a little complicated there. She's Zainichi Korean, but born and raised in Japan. So culturally, I was raised by my Japanese mother and my American father. He's from New York, he's white, like Irish background. Best experience I would say is, even though at the time when I was little I really wanted to be in like an international environment because I felt like I didn't fit in as a hahu, a mixed race person, looking back I think it was good that I really had like an authentic, you know, Japanese upbringing, because I went to regular like Japanese school. You know, I wore like the sailor uniform and stuff like that, which I hated at the time, but you know, looking back I'm like, oh yeah, that was cute. So I think like in that sense, like in hindsight, my best experience was that I had like an authentic Japanese upbringing. Worst experience was just like, in general, it's hard to be different here. I talk about this on my channel, on my TikToks as well, but like the word in Japanese for different, chigau, also means wrong, you know? So just like mentally, I feel like there's this cultural attitude that things that are different are just like not correct. So that was hard to like, you know, deal with when I was growing up, because I didn't know any other hahu people. So, because I'm from a small town, excuse me. So, yeah, it was just hard for me to relate, and like I just always thought like I didn't have a place here. So that was like my worst experience. So my best and worst experience are kind of the same. Like I'm grateful that I had like a real Japanese upbringing, but at the same time, it always made me feel not good enough. Okay,
this is one point you talk a bit fast. You said that you went to Japanese high school.
Yeah, middle school.
Oh, because me and middle school, high school, everything in Japanese.
Yeah.
Me, I got the chance to interview a lot of like half people, and they really had almost everybody had ijime, like real like harsh harassment at school.
Yeah.
Did you experience that also?
Yeah. I was always called like gaijin, which is like the word for foreigner. But it was always used in both ways, like in like a ijime way, if like someone was trying to like tell me off, you know, like, you know, get out of here, gaijin, or whatever. But also just as like a matter of fact, like, well, you are a gaijin, you know, like you're not like real Japanese. So I always struggled with that. Yeah. After like leaving Japan, you say you lived in New York. Yeah.
You say you got the kind of
Yes, I was
acting career in United States.
Yes.
Oh, can you tell us about this? How it was? How you were considered in the United States? Like Asian, like half?
Oh yeah. Okay, so growing up in Japan as a hahu, I just couldn't wait to move to the States, because I thought, okay, I could be accepted there. I'll be like American girl finally, you know? In Japan, I was always considered like not Japanese enough, right? So I wanted to go to the States and just become American. So I went to acting school when I turned 18, but then there I was sort of treated like an Asian person, and I was confused because I never thought of myself as Asian. But then when I was applying to roles, you know, in the college plays and stuff, there were some roles that like they would tell me, well, like you can't play this because it's like a white role or something, you know, and I was like, yeah, like, you know, I had to wait for like the Asian play, you know, and that was weird because I was like, okay, I didn't know I was Asian this whole time. It always felt like I wasn't Asian enough. Oh, good.
Bon les mecs, on a eu un petit problème. J'ai l'habitude de filmer ici, hein. J'ai dû filmer une vingtaine de vidéos ici. D'habitude ça passe. Aujourd'hui le mec il est venu me dire que c'était interdit de filmer. On va savoir pourquoi. Bon, ça arrive, hein, des fois c'est la justice variable, comme on peut dire.
Yes, I realized I was seen as Asian in the United States, so
Yeah.
and there was like complications there regarding casting because, you know, I mean, things are changing, there's more diversity on TV and stuff like that, and my experience working mostly in TV in New York the last 8-9 years is that casting, they want to diversify TV, they want to have all types of people to fill up the cast, but the lead roles are still very white.
Yeah, that's why I never seen on the American movie like an Asian got like the main role or something, a huge character.
It's very rare, and
yeah.
if you're gonna be an Asian on TV, like I feel like your role is about being Asian. You know what I mean? It's not just about like, oh, this girl with her life. You know, it's like, you know, she's Asian, and that's a big part of the story. So, but then for me, it's tricky because I can't really play like Asian roles because I'm not fully Asian. I'm half white, so you know. I don't know, and people always see me as like a bunch of different things. Like people often mistake me for like Middle Eastern or like sometimes South American.
Oh, you can fake it on the screen?
No,
like
I would never do that. That's,
oh, you never?
No, I feel like that's like wrong. That's like appropriation. Like those roles should go to like the actual people.
But in the United States they're doing it sometimes. Obviously it's not Japanese and they act like Japanese. I don't know, you know this TV show, Heroes?
Yeah.
With this guy, Hiro Nakamura.
Yeah.
There's another guy, like, how do you call this? Endo or something.
He wasn't Japanese.
He wasn't Japanese.
Yeah.
So we're doing this a lot in the United States, I think.
That's true. I guess like at least for them they're still like in the Asian family, but like for me to pretend that I'm like Latina or like Middle Eastern, I feel like that would just be wrong.
Yeah, true.
It would be like a non-trans actor playing a trans role. Like there are trans actors, so just cast them, you know. Yeah.
Me, I got big question to ask you about the big difference, because I noticed there's a big difference between like Japanese drama, and American drama.
Yeah.
Especially me, with something sometimes I like in Japanese drama is that it's not really like too much sexual, no sex scene or something. I know in American drama it's completely different. What do you think about this?
In terms of sexual expression, what I always think about that in Japanese culture is like it's either like none at all or like a lot. Like because there's no healthy balance of like a sexual expression, so it's either like super taboo because like I thought like, so I'm gonna talk about Tinder for a second, but like on Tinder for example, that's like a hookup app, right? I don't know what it's like on your end, but when I look at guys on Tinder, a lot of the guys don't show their face because they feel like it's embarrassing to be on this like hookup app, you know, even though there's nothing to be embarrassed about. So I just feel like with sexual expression in general, it's either one or the other. It's like super extreme, like you get like the hentai stuff, you know, like these crazy like whatever anime porn, I have no idea, like the 18 plus section in Don Quixote, where like if you go to Nakano Broadway you'll see all those like anime sex pillows or whatever, you know. It's either that, like in love hotels, like places that are like specifically only for sex, right? Or just like none at all, like no mention of it, you know. Like it's been hard for me to talk about sex with my like Japanese girlfriends. Like
in fact, yeah, there's no middle. It's everything or nothing.
Yes.
So
yeah, because I think Japan in general, they like to put things in categories. Like this belongs here, you know. For example, like what I've noticed about like gay comedians or gay entertainers in Japan, they have to act a certain way. Like they don't act like just, I don't know, like they have to put on this gay persona kind of thing, like a very like, you know, for example, like flamboyant. And I was talking to a friend of mine who's Japanese and gay, and she felt like it was a shame that there wasn't genuine representation of like the LGBTQ community in a sense that they don't have to be seen as a spectacle, you know. Of course, like any representation is good than none, but sometimes it just feels very obsolete. Yeah, so like I always think of Japan as like they put things in categories, like you can be this but you have to exist in this lane, you know. Like you can have sex and have a sex life, but it has to be like at the love hotel. In anime, you know, you see it like the over sexualized, you know, girl characters. Sometimes it's just like too much. I'm like, okay, this is ruining the story, because like I'm distracted by her moaning constantly, like over, I don't know, the grass, you know. It's just kind of like, you know what I'm talking about? It can be kind of like extreme, like the sexualized girl characters.
Yeah, so. I don't understand why I think maybe they're frustrated and they put all the frustration in a character. I don't know, it's weird.
Yes,
it's really weird. Too. Even the body, how we're making boobs like this, ass like this. I don't know, it's weird. Well,
Japan's, I think, huge on fantasy, and I think anime is one genre of that fantasy taking shape, because like I was saying earlier, it's not really encouraged to express yourself here. Like to stand out is not a good thing, like with the different and wrong. So I think that's why art forms like anime are so fantastical and so, you know, larger than life, because it's all like being put in that, you know, all that energy.